came in a while ago.
Record time, Nick. Record time.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're done talking. You're done talking over there. Good.
You good?
Ready. I don't have a galvo. Please stand. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call when you can.
Councilwoman Melly Garthwaite.
Melly Garthwaite, Council at Large, present.
Councilman Brian Locks.
Brian Locks, Council at Large, present.
Councilwoman Ann Heffernan.
Councilwoman Ann Heffernan, 1st District, present.
Councilwoman Ruby Melton.
Councilwoman Ruby Melton, 2nd District, present.
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarali.
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarali, 3rd District, present.
Councilman Gary Donovan.
Councilman Gary Donovan, 4th District, present.
Councilman Edward McMillan.
Good evening, Councilman McMillan, 5th District.
Councilwoman Dawn Callahan.
Dawn Callahan, 6th District, present.
Councilwoman Catherine Tucker.
Councilwoman Catherine Tucker, 7th District, present.
Councilman Christopher Vargo.
Councilman Christopher Vargo, 8th District, present.
Councilwoman Katie Muller.
Councilwoman Katie Muller, 9th District, present.
Councilman Stephen Johnstone.
Stephen Johnstone, 10th District, present.
And Chairman Nicholas Pascal.
Chairman Nicholas Pascal, present.
And we have a full house, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. If you could go on to read the call of the special meeting this evening.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
West Haven City Council notice agenda of a special meeting for March 20th, 2025. Notice. In accordance with rule number 4.5 of the rules governing the actions of the City Council, Mayor Dorinda Boer has called a special meeting of the West Haven City Council to be held at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, in the Harriet North Courtroom, 2nd floor, 355 Main Street, West Haven, Connecticut. The purpose of this special meeting is as follows. Mayor Dorinda Boer's presentation of the budget and 5-year capital plan for fiscal year July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Without further ado, Mayor Boer.
I want to make sure I had all my pages. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I want to thank our attendees and our residents who are tuning in for the opportunity to present the city's fiscal year 2026 budget and 5-year capital plan. And I appreciate all of your patience while we work through this process. It is certainly a daunting task, but one that is certainly worthy. I would like to extend my gratitude to our finance team. Michael Gormanier, our finance director, sitting there in the back, who led this process. I want to thank him for all his work. David Taylor, Michelle DePascal, who stepped into the budget role, and of course Ricky, for their dedication and hard work. It's been a year since I last presented the fiscal year 25 budget to you, and in that time we have made significant progress, achieved milestones, and navigated some challenges together. None of this would have been possible without your partnership. City Council, you have been professional, thoughtful, provided thoughtful input, and your commitment to serving the residents of West Haven has been invaluable to me in my work as mayor. I also want to acknowledge the vital role our boards and commissions play, as they are an extension of our government, and they too volunteer their time to move our city forward. So I'm going to give a little bit of a State of the Union address as to how far we've come, where we are today, and where we're going. So our financial progress. Over the past year, we've made remarkable strides in restoring financial stability. When we took office, as you may remember, the city was behind in 2 audits, fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. We delivered both of those audits, bringing the city up to date, and then successfully completed the fiscal year 24 audit on time. That's 3 years worth of audits that we delivered in a single year. The 2024 audit validated our efforts, demonstrating that we cleared all material weaknesses and reduced our significant deficiencies to just 1, and since addressed according to our financial consultant, that has now been cleared as well. We have strengthened our internal controls, implemented sound policies and procedures, and filled key financial positions, including our new finance director, accountants, and an internal auditor. Our fund balance remains very strong, and we continue to make responsible payments towards our pension liabilities. Additionally, we maximize the use of ARPA funds. We had funds that were not in use, and we made sure we ensured the usage of every dollar and made sure it was allocated by the deadline of December 31st, 2024. These efforts have not gone unnoticed. In just 10 months, we received 2 credit rating upgrades from Standard & Poor's, and most recently, last week, an upgrade from Moody's. West Haven is now investment grade. These ratings reflect the thorough presentations and tangible progress we have made together for this city. With respect to personnel and compliance, this past year we filled 63 critical positions and overhauled our personnel files and programs, bringing recruitment efforts into legal compliance, an issue that had been previously not addressed. We implemented mandatory training on ethics, freedom of information laws, and strengthened our workforce and our governance. With respect to economic development, West Haven has seen exciting advancements in economic development, including the long-awaited completion of Beat Street. We cut that ribbon only just less than a year ago. Feels like a lifetime. Paving the way for transformation of that area. A finalized lease and development plan for the Kelsey, a city-owned building that sat vacant for nearly 8 years. We gave support to REVA, helping to facilitate their operational and their city needs, allowing them to move forward seamlessly. The sale and redevelopment of the dilapidated Debonair Hotel is something we welcome and something we helped to jumpstart early on in the administration. The pending sale of Style Schools for higher than anticipated price, we recently saw as well. A $500,000 pending sale of North End Field, subject to council approval, will again bring revenue to the city and put a piece of property on the tax roll that has not been on the tax roll since the beginning. We held a small business grant program distributing $400,000 to our small businesses for facade upgrades. We achieved and received a $250,000 planning grant for the downtown development, which is currently underway. The long-awaited launch of the Masonic renovation project, we completed with bids secured and a contract now hired to begin the work. We adjusted our zoning regulations. We created business retention incentives, and we held small business forums to allow our small businesses to receive the support they deserve. The reallocation of $2 million in old grants that were not in use, we repurposed them towards investments in our beaches and our boardwalk. And last week, we received word of another grant we are getting, $1.8 million, which I will be able to announce formally soon. These successes were made possible by our dedicated team, including our grants writer, our economic development director, Steve Fontana, who's with us, our finance department, and our state partners who have worked with us and want to see us be successful. With respect to public safety and emergency services, we've made substantial investments to modernize and improve public safety. We installed security gates at our beaches and our flood-prone areas. We formed a community risk reduction committee. We invested $1 million in citywide security cameras. We upgraded our police phone systems and our dashboard units. We secured a grant to improve our traffic signals. We provided new training gear and equipment for our fire departments. We enhanced our emergency preparedness through ongoing upgrades our emergency director is making every single week. We conducted critical risk management and OSHA training for personnel, some that have never received the appropriate training as employees at the City of West Haven. With respect to social services and community initiatives, we hired qualified leaders to drive community programs and initiatives, positions that we all together felt last year in the budget that we thought were necessary in the health department, in youth services, and our elderly. They have all now been hitting the ground running and providing outreach and community support as part of their program. Notably, we also, under our services, opened West Haven's first warming center, which has been a great success in serving our most vulnerable residents. With respect to city beautification and infrastructure, we've made significant improvements to the city's appearance and infrastructure, including new fencing, new banners, light poles, a boat ramp renovation, enhancement, right down to our electrical boxes that we painted across the city. While challenges arose throughout the years, we responded swiftly and effectively to minimize any setbacks. Today, West Haven is financially stable and on track for a balanced budget with a surplus to end June 30th, 2025, a crucial milestone as we look ahead. That's nice, thank you. Fiscal year 25 budget. So tonight, I will outline the budgets for which the executive and legislative branches are responsible for, the timeline for approval, and the key budget attributes. Just as a reminder, because I know sometimes it's a little complicated what West Haven's structure is. The mayor and the city council, we have oversight of the city's operating budget, which includes revenues, expenses, investments, debt payments, and the 5-year capital plan. The Allentown Fire District budget is incorporated into the city's overall budget, and we work on that together in collaboration with the Allentown Fire Commissioners, who work every day to help assist our Allentown Fire District. The Water Pollution Control budget, for which we provide input, though there is a commission that has final approval of our sewer fees prior to it going before the city council. The Water Pollution Control budget is not a tax, it is a sewer fee. The Center and the West Shore Fire Districts operate independently with their own commissioners and their own budget, and they have a public vote on that budget. I encourage residents in these two districts to stay informed on when those budgets occur so that they can listen to those budgets as well and they can vote on them. The budget timeline and approach. The budget timeline is dictated by our city charter with key benchmarks including submission deadlines, public hearings, and the council's final vote. As I develop this budget, I assess each line item to understand our financial standing. I considered potential external impacts from state and federal changes that we're experiencing. I held one-on-one meetings with department heads to review justifications, needs, and gather their ideas. Our responsibility is to craft a fiscal responsible budget that supports essential services, including investments in education and public safety, timely debt payments, and sustainable general fund growth to ensure long-term financial health. We must look towards the future. This is a complex task, but I believe this budget achieves our objectives while maintaining the level of service that our residents deserve. Some notable items that you will see within the budget. In 2024, a state-mandated revaluation of all properties within the city was conducted. While typically performed every 5 years, this reassessment was required of the city of West Haven after 4 years due to state regulations, which impacted West Haven and many other municipalities. Property values increased due to several factors that are considered in revaluation we are required to use, which includes recent home sale prices, market conditions, and home improvements. To mitigate the impact on taxpayers, this proposed budget reduces the mill rate while maintaining essential services. This was made possible through strong financial year and strategic improvements to the city's financial structure. Therefore, the new mill rate that I am proposing for this city is changing from 36.57 to 25.76. That is a reduction of 11 mills. If you have been reading the recent reports of our neighboring municipalities, that brings us right in line even with the fire district addition, which the purpose of reval, doing it by a region, is to try to make it equitable across cities so that we don't have a huge disparity city to city. The grand list update also affected the Allentown Fire District, and through our work on the budget has resulted also in a mill rate reduction from 11.32 to 8.43, a reduction of approximately 3 mills. Residents of Allentown will realize a reduction in their mill rate of 14 mills, and the total mill rate will go from 48 to 34.9. Fire for West Haven and Center will still be finalized by their commissioners, as I mentioned. So West Haven's mill rate will still be the 25.76, and with the Fires District mill rate in those two districts, it will most likely, I'm not going to speak for them, will be around in the vicinity of 35 mills, because they're not going to go up because their grand list went up, but not sure if they're holding the line or going down. Okay, so that is our mill rate. The other change you will see in the budget is I've created the position of a new Chief Operating Officer, or a COO, which most organizations the size of our organization have. This position has been created by eliminating vacant roles, so there is no net increase related to the creation of the Chief Operating Officer. This executive officer will oversee the information technology and risk management departments, lead our capital projects, and implement key operational initiatives, allowing for a more focused approach to these critical areas, as right now they are spread across several departments. Historically, utility costs have been distributed across multiple city departments as well. Moving forward, we have centralized all our utility expenses, phone, electrical, automotive, will be centralized under the finance department, which will help improve transparency so that we could better understand the course that they are taking and enhance forecasting capabilities. You also see an increase in the regular wages expense category, primarily result from the contractual obligations within the 681 local union. That's a contract that all of us, that was already ratified, and those increases you will see built in. So when you see increases, those were already approved increases that now are showing up in the budget. Wage adjustments for employees in the 1103 local union have been placed in contingency to account for the retroactive payments related to contract expirations. Once that contract is settled, which should be very soon, you will then see those numbers come into the budget. Elected and appointed officials adhere to the local 1103 union contract for fringe benefits. Appointed officials are also included in the contingency, and elected official increases mirroring the 1103 contract will require council approval. Youth and Family Services has now been restructured as a standalone department, as it falls under Human Resources, but the expenses were lumped in together. So we are separating them out, although this change enhances the operational efficiency, but still maintains the reporting structure. So Youth Services still reports into Human Resources, but we've broken the budget out so we could better track it. The total full-time equivalent count has not increased. Rather, positions have been restructured to optimize efficiency. So we've added a net growth of 0 personnel. We actually reduced 2. This budget makes the necessary investments in our Board of Education system while supporting its vision and its needs, and making sure we give the support that we can provide to those who educate our children. Last year, we fully funded the Board of Ed's request for the first time in 7 years. However, this year, the request for $3.5 million was not sustainable within this budget. After a thorough review of their budget, I made strategic adjustments, ultimately proposing a $1.8 million increase. This is $800,000 above what our 5-year plan was approved last year. In speaking with the superintendent, I asked if this is an increase that the Board of Education can live with, and he said it was. I want you to know that I did not make that reduction in a vacuum, so it was not just an amount that I reduced. Here is what added up to my reduction in the request. We are getting an additional $500,000 in ECS funding from the state of Connecticut. And these came in after the budget was created. In all fairness to the Board of Ed, they weren't aware of what the state's numbers were. So the ECS funding is coming in $500,000 more than was projected. The Alliance grant is coming in $400,000 more than was projected. In reviewing the health insurance program for the Board of Education, the increase was not as much as originally predicted, and it was adjusted down to 8.4% by our brokers and through the State of Connecticut Partnership Plan. Consultants in the Board of Education exceeded their amount, and I reduced that back to what the original budgeted amount was for outside consultants. Utilities, I believe there is an opportunity for a reduction in the utilities cost and expenses, and we will help the Board of Education realize those savings, just as we have done on the city side. There is high school repairs that will be coming back to the city of West Haven, approximately estimated at the tune of $200,000. And we also have a number of miscellaneous reductions that equal $300,000. So in looking at what I believe these reductions can be, it adds up to the 1.7 that we took away from the 3.5 to leave the 1.8 increase. By doing this, the proposal funding levels ensures investments in the special education, which we know has risen at an extraordinary rate, and accounts for the rising expenses without impacting teachers, paraprofessionals, nurses, or security personnel. Additionally, this budget fully accounts for the projected increase in the police pension. Assuming it is fully accepted, we are conservatively budgeting the entire pension. While we know this is still in mediation, it is responsible for us to project the maximum increase and then adjust the budget as we get more. Should a different agreement be reached, adjustments will be made accordingly. Another critical area requiring attention is our sewer operating fund. Our sewer plant has been neglected for several years, and significant infrastructure improvements are needed due to decades of requiring maintenance. To maintain operations and ensure environmental protection, we require several million dollars in funding. As a result, all properties will see a $33 increase, a necessary step to safeguard our sewage and our clean water systems. I believe this is a modest amount to make sure that our system is in compliance and we protect the health and the welfare of the residents of West Haven. We have made incredible progress, and autonomous financial stability is finally within our reach. I am confident that together we will achieve that goal. As for the MARB, the question remains whether they will be involved in this fiscal year 26 budget. Last year, for the first time, the MARB approved the city's budget without any changes and required only one minor adjustment to our 5-year plan. If we remain under their oversight, I do not anticipate major challenges. However, my hope is for an upcoming vote that allows us to manage our own finances independently. Regardless of MARB's involvement, regardless of what the state statute requires us to do, we will continue to do what we know we need to do. We will continue to adhere to the highest financial standards, not just because it is required, but because we recognize that a new governance is what West Haven needed and what we're implementing. We understand the importance of staying the course and a positive trajectory. I want to thank you all for your time and your consideration of this budget.
Thank you, Mayor Boer. We appreciate what you and your staff put together for us tonight. I'm sure it wasn't easy, and it's obvious that some tough decisions were made. Now, our task is to do what I always tell my department managers at work: trust, but verify. We trust that your team did the best for the people of West Haven. Now, our next step as a team is to verify nothing was missed. Over the month of April, the council, led by Councilwoman Akbarali, will talk to all the departments, having them justify and explain their budgets so that we have clarity that what we eventually approve is as fair and honest as it can be. So with that being said, I thank you all for coming tonight. We're going to set the budget public hearing date for April 3rd, 2025. Time 6:30, good for everybody? 6:30, okay. And that's it for this evening. Okay, perfect. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, have a good night, everyone.